Hey everybody, so today we're looking at the law of cosines. The last couple of days we've done law of sines, and it was used to help us find missing angles and missing sides of triangles that weren't right triangles. Right triangles we could use SOHCAHTOA. But the thing about the law of sines is in order to use that you have to know one angle and the side opposite of that angle in order to use the law of sines. So what happens if you're not given that information? Then you can use what's known as the law of cosines. And this is actually going to take us a couple of days to go over because there's two ways of writing this depending on if you're looking for a side or if you're looking for an angle. So today we're going to stick with the formula for finding a side of a triangle. So in triangle ABC, this is our law of cosines, side A, which we know is opposite angle A, is equal to the square root of B squared plus C squared, so those are your other two sides, minus 2 times B times C, those other two sides, times the cosine of A. So notice if you're looking for side A, then within the formula you have the cosine of angle A. So if we were looking for side B, then our other sides would have been A and C, and we would have cosine of B. So we can rearrange these variables however we need them. Don't get stuck on which variable goes where. Just think of it as if we want to know one side, then it's the square root of the other sides squared and then summed, minus 2 times the product of those other two sides times the cosine of whatever angle is opposite the side we're looking for. And I know that was a lot. That was a long sentence, but you'll see how it unfolds as we do some examples. So let's see. Let's do some examples. Let's go ahead and solve. All right, so let's solve, and let's use some different variables. Triangle M and P, why not? Just so we don't get too used of using ABC. So suppose we're given in triangle MNP that angle M is 25 degrees. Side N is going to be just a length of 9. And side P is going to be a length of 12. Okay, angle M is 25 degrees, side N is 9, side P is 12. All right, so first of all, we cannot use the law of sines. The only angle we know is angle M, and we don't know its opposite side. So we can't use law of sines here. So we have to use the law of cosines. Since we do know angle M, then that's the missing side that we're going to be able to find. So plugging this information in, I'm actually going to rewrite the formula in terms of what I'm looking for. So since I'm looking for side M, first of all, since it's a side, I'm going to have a little m there. And it equals, all right, your other two sides squared. So if I'm looking for M, then I'm going to square N, and I'm going to square P, and then it's minus 2 times the product of those sides, so it's going to be 2 times N times P, and then times the cosine of angle M, since we're looking for little m. So I've just rewritten the exact same formula, just using the variables that I have here. So now filling in what I have, and again, you're going to use your calculators for this. And go ahead and put everything into your calculator. Don't figure it out piece by piece. So that's going to be 9 squared. P is going to be 12 squared minus 2 times 9 times 12. And I'm using the little times symbol instead of parentheses because this is how you're going to type it into your calculator. And then it's going to be times the cosine of M, which is 25. And for all of these things that we've been doing, your calculator still is in degrees. And the nice thing about this formula, it is a little bit longer formula, but since you don't have to memorize it, that should be no big deal. But you can just put it now straight into your calculator like this, and it will give you the answer. And we're just going to round everything to the nearest hundredth. A few of you had a little difficulties with that on the quiz. Be careful with this now. And when you put that in your calculator, and notice I'm not going to write it as 81 plus 144 times whatever the heck that would be when I multiplied it together. I'm just putting it one fell swoop into my calculator, and this is going to give you that M is 5.41. So there's one of my missing pieces. Now that I know side M, Most students, as I've taught this many, many times, most students then like to use the law of sines to find any remaining information. If this were a problem on a quiz, then I would have answer blanks for angle N, angle P, and side M. So we just found side M first. So now we've got to find either angle N or angle P. So since I haven't given you the formula for that using the law of cosines, I'm going to go ahead and now use the law of sines. So my anchor is going to be this angle M and side M. So 5.41 over the sine of 25 is going to equal, and I could either find N or P. It does not matter which one. I'm just going to go ahead, since it's first, I'm going to find angle N. So I'm going to have 9 over the sine of N. And remember from a couple of days ago, to solve this, I cross multiply. So I'm going to have 5.41 times the sine of N equals 9 times the sine of 25. Don't put anything into your calculator until you get N all by itself. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5.41. So now I have the sine of N equals 9 times the sine of 25 all over 5.41. I'm still not putting anything into my calculator because now I'm going to undo this sine in front. And so now angle N is the sine inverse, which is what I need to do to both sides, of 9 times the sine of 25 all over 5.41. So now that's what you want to type into your calculator. And when you do that, you're going to get that N is 44.67 degrees. And when you put this on a quiz, you're going to leave off the degree mark, which we did on the last quiz, just input the number. So now we need to find angle P is the only thing left. And once you know two of the angles, M and N, the easiest way to find angle P is just to do 180 minus M minus N. And again, just throw that into your calculator. And that gives you that angle P is equal to 110.3 degrees. 33. I left off something. 110.33 degrees there. All right, so that's using the law of cosines. We'll just do another example, but it's going to be very similar to this one. So let's go ahead and do one with triangle ABC. Keep the formula up there. All right, so example 2. We're going to solve triangle ABC. Suppose that we're given angle C is 80 degrees. Little a is 12, and little b is 16. So again, we're not going to be able to use the law of sines yet, because the only angle we know is C. So we would need to know side C, and we don't have that. On your quiz, I'm going to tell you whether to use the law of sines or the law of cosines, so you don't have to worry about that yet. But for the test, you're going to have to determine what you need. But it's very, very easy. You try law of sines, see if you've got the angle and the side opposite it. And if not, you're going to have to use law of cosines. All right, so the information that we're missing, we're going to find angle A, we're going to find angle B, and we're going to find side C. So to do this, the first thing you're going to have to find is side C. We don't have enough information to find either angle A or B yet. So law of cosines, this time we're looking for side C. So again, I'm going to just rewrite the formula using all the variables. So since I'm looking for side C, then it's going to be a squared plus b squared minus 2ab. Whatever two sides you're using here is what gets used here, times the cosine of angle C. So we're going to have the square root of 12 squared plus 16 squared minus 2 times 12 times 16 times the cosine of 80. And just throw all that into your calculator, and you're going to get that side C, let's see, it's 18.26. Now that I have side C, I'm going to switch to the law of sines. So 18.26 over the sine of 80 degrees. That's my anchor. I know angle C and side C, so that's the anchor for the law of sines. Is going to equal, and I could either find angle A or angle B. It doesn't matter which. A just comes first in the alphabet, so I'll just do that. So it's going to be 12 over the sine of A. Cross multiply. 18.26 times the sine of A equals 12 times sine of 80. Alexa, stop. Sorry about that. She's getting a little too excited. So we've got 18.26 sine of A equals 12 sine of 80. Divide both sides by 18.26. So we have the sine of A equals 12 times the sine of 80, all over 18.26. We're not quite ready to put it in a calculator yet. We need to undo this sine. So to do that, it's the sine inverse. So A is sine inverse of 12 times the sine of 80, all over 18.26. Just throw that straight into our calculator. And angle A should equal 40.33. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So now we just need angle B. So we've got angle A, 40.33 degrees. We have side C. So now angle B is just 180 minus C minus A. So angle B is going to equal 59.67 degrees. So this is exactly like the problems that you're doing for homework. So that's it. I'll have the homework listed separately on campus. All right, thanks guys. Have a good weekend.